Everyone says I love Sam to the point of madness, but only I know, the one I truly loved was his older brother, Erick. But Erick is dead, and I must guard his family in his place. Chapter 01. For 3 years of marriage, Sam and I have lived in mutual respect as cold as ice. I know he has another home out there, but I don't care. Yet he's allowed that woman to dance right into my face. Clearly, she's a bit too fearless for her own good. Mrs. Miriam. Sam's drunk again. Can you come pick him up? One of Sam's friends asked tentatively over the phone. I pressed my lips together, staring at the project proposal in my hands, my brow furrowing. Because, damn it, this was already the 31st time Sam had gotten drunk this month. Just then, a delicate female voice drifted from the phone. Sam, drink a little less. Oh, so this is a declaration of war? I put down the proposal and changed my tone. I'll be right there. Madam, please be careful on the road. The butler, Mario, respectfully opened the door for me. I chose a red Ferrari, bringing with me a simmering rage to the Junja Club. The bar manager was already waiting at the entrance. Lead the way. My voice was as cold as March ice, laced with venom. The manager didn't dare delay and led me straight to Sam's private room. When the door opened, the entire room fell silent. Everyone around Sam knew my arriving at this time meant my anger level was off the charts. And since I'd arrived so quickly, clearly the fire was blazing. The woman next to Sam gave me a provocative look. I guessed she was Victoria. Rumor had it she was the one Sam kept closest to his heart. Sam had protected her well. This was the first time I'd actually seen this delicate little flower. She looked young, probably just graduated, not yet bruised by the world. Don't ask how I know. Ask her eyes. In them I saw the clear glint of stupidity. Sam, get up and go home. My fury boiled over. Miriam, you're too fierce. Victoria clung to Sam's arm, turning to accuse me with bold arrogance. Chapter 02. And who exactly are you? Are we close? Who gave you permission to call me Miriam? I sneered, pretending not to know her, my gaze full of disdain and pressure. I'm Victoria. I'm Sam's girlfriend, Victoria stammered under my stare, shrinking back behind Sam in fear. Girlfriend? Did I hear that right? You're my husband's girlfriend? I actually laughed out loud. The mistress had come dancing into the wife's face. I picked up a glass of wine and splashed it straight into Sam's face. You think I'm dead? Letting your woman parade in front of me? Sam, you're really shameless. Sam finally looked me in the eye. With a mocking tone he said, Go home? Wherever Victoria is, that's my home. Ah, Miriam, stop being shameless. Victoria finally reacted, grabbing a glass of wine to throw at me, but my bodyguard stepped in and blocked it. Not a single drop landed on me. I thought to myself, another day of my charisma saving me. Truly, everyone loves me. I patted the bodyguard's shoulder. Double your salary. Victoria, that's enough. Sam pretended to warn her. In reality, he was afraid I'd retaliate against her. After all, compared to a shrewd businesswoman like me, this little pitiful girl who could only rely on him was really no match. I had to admit, Sam knew how to read the room and play the game. But such a person, was he really just a fool? I wasn't so sure. Sam, I was only trying to help you. Miriam was the one who went too far first. Victoria pouted unhappily. Be good. Sam patted her head reassuringly. Victoria threw me another provocative glance. Too young indeed. Forget it. I don't like sitting at the kids' table anyway. After all, I was supposed to be her sister-in-law, but instead I turned her man into a remarried man. With a cold face I said, Go home. Sam replied coldly, Why should I listen to you? I gritted my teeth. Go home. He snapped back. No. I laughed angrily. Sam, are you sure? Sam's defiance was firm. Please invite Miss Victoria over to our house for some tea. I gestured to my bodyguards. Don't touch her. I'll go back with you. Sam shielded Victoria behind him, eyes blazing with vigilance. See? Would have saved me time if you'd obeyed earlier. My tone softened. You know, this. Sam cut me off. Time, I've lost at least 10 million already. Miriam, I'm sick of hearing you say it. Can't you pick a new line? You married me for my family's wealth. Didn't you? I was right all along. You're a disgusting, greedy woman. He jabbed his finger at my nose. No one in the room dared breathe. My sharp tongue and ruthlessness were infamous. Chapter 03. Ha ha ha, I laughed loudly and said, Sam, you're right. I am greedy for your family's fortune. So why don't you, as the only heir of your family, stand up and fight me for it? I'm warning you, if you don't act soon, your family will fall right into my hands. I confessed so decisively, but anyone who thought carefully could see the cracks in my words. My family also had power and influence, and I was also the sole legal heir, even though for years my father's adopted son, Duncan, had been managing things. Sam's face turned an ugly shade. Since you're tired of hearing it, I'll pick a new line next time. I held my head high, turned, and walked back to the car without looking back. I sat inside and watched Sam put Victoria into her car. Victoria grabbed Sam's tie, and the two shared a deep kiss. When they separated, Sam was panting outside the car, gazing at Victoria with tenderness. I clicked my tongue. They really don't care that I'm right here in the car with the driver, do they? Only after watching Victoria leave did Sam walk toward my car. You drive. I tossed the keys to him. I was too tired. I was afraid I'd crash the car, dragging Sam down with me. If I died, I'd cry to death. Really, I could die. But Sam couldn't. He was the only one left in his family. He couldn't die. I drifted into sleep. When I woke again, it was already the next day. My memory was still stuck on last night in the car. Mario, how did I get home last night? I asked casually over breakfast. Young Master Sam carried you back. Madam, actually. The second young master was also pretty good. Mario knew about me and Erick. Since Erick had died, he probably hoped I'd let go and cherish the person in front of me. Mario, you're overstepping. I warned aloud. No one could make me look forward. I would not look forward. I would rot with Erick's memory. Sorry. Madam. Mario sighed silently. I was too stubborn, but I, Miriam, had the capital to be stubborn. Chapter 04. Sam was truly infuriating. Every day he courted trouble. Every day he played with fire. And now he'd done it again. Say that again? Where is Sam? I was raging, that fire in my heart ready to burn me up. A mush and racetrack. The informant's voice unconsciously shrank, proof of how terrifying my anger had become. Am I crazy or is Sam crazy? Fine. Great. Sam, you've got guts. My heart jumped into my throat. I sped all the way to Mushin. I thought I'd never set foot there again in my life. Sam really was something, dancing on my bottom line again and again. Well, maybe it was time to lower it even further. The racetrack was crowded. Cars lined up at the starting line. I looked at Sam in his gaudy red car, and it was like seeing again the night Erick died in a crash. I felt as though I'd been thrown into an ice cellar. I went crazy, climbing over the racetrack fence. Thank God I'd worn pants today. Bang! The starting gun fired, and all the cars shot forward like arrows, leaving only afterimages. Boom! In that instant, fireworks burst in my mind. I stepped right in front of Sam's track. Because of this sudden event, the racetrack exploded into excitement. Sam and I locked eyes from a distance. I opened my arms, the message obvious: stop. Sam's lips curved in a faint, unreadable smile. He stepped harder on the accelerator. I just stared at him, my gaze as firm as an oath. I saw Sam's eyes change from unstoppable force to growing panic. He was the first to lose his nerve. I knew he couldn't stop, which meant I would die. At that speed, even if I survived, I'd be crippled. He slammed the brakes. The car screeched to a stop 50 centimeters from me. Chapter 05. I secretly let out a breath of relief. Sam also secretly exhaled, scrambling out of the car. Miriam, are you trying to die? Withdraw from the race, I ordered. Sam's face went cold. This race was important to him. Get out of my way. He returned to the car. I grabbed the door. Sam truly got angry. Miriam, do you have a death wish? I compromised. You really have to compete, don't you? Sam answered without hesitation. Yes. I smiled. Then get out. I'll race for you. 3 years ago, I hadn't stopped Erick from going on the track. Today I wouldn't stop Sam either. But this time, I would go in his place. Referee, start a new round. I'll race for Sam, I commanded the referee not far away. Yes. Yes. The referee was unusually respectful, visibly excited. Others didn't know who I was, but he definitely did. After all, Mushin still had my legend. Sister was just that powerful. Miriam, the company is practically already in your pocket. Are you sure you want to risk your life racing for me? Sam was betting I'd refuse, thinking I was afraid of death, but he didn't know the one thing I feared least was death. Yes, if I lose, I'll present my head. Sam stared at me blankly. I thought he was seeing someone through me. He was silent for a long time, then stepped off the track into the stands. Sam finally muttered, "If you lose, then you lose. Miriam has never lost," I said with full confidence. I watched Sam sit next to Victoria, the two of them whispering. Sam didn't even glance at me. "You ungrateful little thing," I thought, though a strange warmth spread in my heart. Sam, stay like this. Guard this home and be happy. Don't end up like your brother and me. The gun fired, and I floored the accelerator. I knew Mushin too well, even with my eyes closed. I could complete the track. I left everyone far behind. Not even a shadow left in their view. I went completely wild. The referee wept with joy. The twin gods are still the twin gods, even after all these years. Her driving is still unmatched. The stands went briefly silent, then erupted in shouts. The twin gods referred to me and Erick. But 4 years ago, Erick had fallen at Mushin, and I had retired. Only our legend remained. The camera zoomed in. I flicked my hair and drove one-handed. I glanced at the big screen, admiring myself, charming but not virtuous. In that moment, I felt fully alive again, my whole being shouting, "Watch me make you fall for me." I crossed the finish line, and only 30 seconds later did the second-place car crawl in. Awesome! The referee and the crowd's compliments were things I was used to. At that moment, I suddenly understood Sam's line about being tired of hearing me tell him to go home. He really had been tired of it. Truly, the speaker speaks casually. The listener takes it to heart. Chapter 06. You should come home with me now. I walked toward the stands. Up to Sam. "Miriam, did you know my brother?" he asked. Sam stared at my face, not missing the flash of pain across it. I knew Erick. My voice was faint, carried off by the wind on Mushin. I pressed my lips together, unwilling to say more. "I'll take Victoria home first." Sam still stared at me relentlessly. I nodded. "Okay. Remember to come home." I didn't look like Sam's wife. I looked like his housekeeper, or maybe the term sister-in-law fit better. I thought, if Erick were still alive, Sam would surely call me sister-in-law. I longed to hear it. I left the stands. Many people wanted my autograph, but once I put on my sunglasses, I didn't love anyone. My powerful aura succeeded in keeping them back. No one dared provoke me. Once I was outside, I exhaled deeply. Out in the world, identity is what you make it. Living in this world is the same. Decide what you want to be, and you have that identity. But whatever identity you choose, it limits you. So don't define yourself too easily. Live, as free as the wind. That night I was awakened by noise. I thought I heard Sam losing his temper, but I was too sleepy and ignored it. The next morning I asked Mario, "Did the second young master come back?" Mario replied, "He came back, saw you were already asleep, and slammed the door as he left again." Has such a temper," I said sarcastically. "Arrange it. It's time to meet that second uncle." I thought to myself, it's time to end this. Outwardly I smiled, but no one knew the sorrow inside me. I didn't need anyone to know, but living was really too painful for me. "Sorry to keep you waiting, second uncle." I pushed open the door, full of presents. This was my final battle to seize the company. Soon I could emulate Zhuge Liang, devote myself to the end, and die having done my duty. So this battle needed to be fought with full momentum. Chapter 07. As expected, something unexpected happened. I unexpectedly saw Sam. I gaslighted myself, thinking maybe I hadn't slept well and was hallucinating. I slammed the door shut, then opened it again. Damn it, Sam was still sitting there. It's really Sam, not a hallucination. I looked up and saw them staring at me like I was a fool. My mind raced, and I quickly figured it out. This second uncle really is that one and only pure white jasmine flower, the lone white swan in a world of black swans. Sam's only dependable ally in the future. Well played, Sam. Playing the pig to eat the tiger with me. Huh? You even fooled me. I flopped down casually on the seat, completely relaxed. That ice cold, high and mighty persona, I'd kept it up for 3 years. 3 years! Over 1,000 days and nights, wasn't easy. Uncle couldn't hold back and finally said, Miriam, listen up. I won't give you my shares. This family should stay within the family. Give up your wishful thinking. At worst, we'll all go down together, no one will win. Uncle glared, face red with rage. I poured him a drink and handed it over. Uncle, if everyone in this family were like you, we'd never be in this mess. Don't get too cocky, he snapped, clearly adorable in his own way. I'll be hosting a family meeting tomorrow night, I said sweetly to Sam. Let's decide once and for all what surname this family should carry. Miriam! Sam's eyes could have killed me 1,000 times over. I smiled and turned away. See you tomorrow. What can I say? I'm stubborn to the end. Chapter 08. I brought Lavender to visit Erick's grave. Only here could I show my truest self. As soon as I saw Erick's name, I began ranting about how much of a headache Sam is. I cursed him for being so useless, like mud that can't stick to a wall. The whole power struggle was left to me, someone who was supposed to be his sister-in-law. But what I didn't expect was, Sam wasn't just some hidden bronze player. He was a king in disguise. I thought I was the mantis hunting the cicada, only to realize that Sam was the eagle swooping in from above. Now I'm finally at peace. Sam's not that bad. If he takes over the company, I'm okay with that. This story should end. I didn't attend the family meeting. I sent Mario in my place. He brought Sam a gift from me, all the company shares I held. I also left a will. If I die, everything I own goes to Duncan. I drove to Mushin, my heart as calm as still water. I was going to see my love. The legend of the twin gods of racing should live and die together. I'll meet him, my way. Erick, I'm coming to find you. Wait for me. Just a little longer. The sky poured down rain, just like the night Erick died. I remember sitting in the spectator's seat, watching him send me a heart emoji. I smiled sweetly. But the storm made me uneasy. I wanted to tell Erick not to race, but I knew I couldn't. This race meant everything to him. It was his retirement race. After that night, he would no longer be Erick the racer, only President Erick. If he walked away now, he'd live with regret. I didn't want that. I watched his car flying through the rain, on edge the entire time. And then, the accident really happened. At the third curve, where he should have slowed down, he somehow accelerated, crashing straight into the guardrail. Screams erupted all around. I jumped from the stands and ran like mad. I had never felt 300 meters stretch so far, even using all my strength. I couldn't reach him instantly. As I neared the wreck, I couldn't move, because I saw the blood, drop by drop, from the wreckage. My Erick was leaving me. I was terrified to the core. I begged the heavens to have mercy, to spare us. We were about to get married. Chapter 09. But things didn't go as I wished. My voice trembled. Erick? I saw a piece of glass lodged directly in his heart. He looked up at me, dazed. Miriam, don't cry, don't cry. That fool, even at the brink of death, was still trying to comfort me. Miriam. Erick kept repeating those 2 words, his hand trembling as he reached out to me. I grabbed it. I promise you. As long as Miriam is alive, your family will live on. Erick, hold on. The ambulance is almost here. We haven't even gotten married yet. Erick, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Please, Erick. For me, stay alive. I was crying uncontrollably. Erick tried to wipe away my tears, but his eyelids grew heavier and heavier. I'm sorry. Miriam, forget me. After saying that, he finally closed his eyes for good. Erick? In the pouring rain, I held Erick's head in my arms. What I held was my entire world. But he was gone. Blood soaked my white dress. From that moment on, I grew to hate the color white. We promised to grow old together. How could you leave me behind? You liar. Erick. Big fat liar. I hate you so much. I was on the edge of breaking down completely. In the end, I collapsed beside the car. When I woke up, a month had already passed. Erick had long been buried. I missed the chance to see him one last time. What a cruel regret. It took me 2 weeks to accept that Erick was gone. That's when I started paying close attention to his family. It was during that time that I learned about Sam, his infamous younger brother, known as a spoiled second-generation heir. Soon after, their company fell into financial crisis. After much deliberation, I decided to marry Sam. It was the quickest and most effective way to take over the company. I had promised Erick that I'd protect the family business, and I'm someone who keeps her promises. I knew Sam had no reason to refuse. His company had already hit a dead end, and I was the only path left. Chapter 10. I married Sam. The appearance of lavender at the wedding made my nose sting. It was my favorite flower. And Erick's favorite too. The wedding ring Sam gave me was lavishly extravagant. I heard it was a custom design. And just like that, in a daze, I married Sam. After the wedding, we slept in separate rooms. I poured all my energy into reclaiming company shares. Sam began to resent me. We clashed head-on. He started flaunting other women in public, all by himself. He turned me into a laughingstock in upper-class circles, but I always just smiled and brushed it off. I continued to pressure him tirelessly to come home. His friends began spreading rumors that I was begging him for love. Then they started saying I was madly obsessed with Sam. And the rumors just got worse and worse. But only I knew. The one I loved was his brother, Erick. But Erick was gone, and I had to guard the family for him. To Sam, I was more like an overbearing sister-in-law than a wife. Even though I was his wife, I always carried myself as his elder. Chapter 11. I reached the third turn and, just like Erick once did, I accelerated straight toward the guardrail. I was ready to die, but there was a smile of relief on my face. The pain tore through me, unbearable, but my body soon went numb, barely able to move. My lips trembled from the agony. I felt nauseous, like I was about to throw up. It really hurt so much. Miriam! Miriam! In my dazed state, I seemed to hear 2 people calling my name. Miriam, you big liar. How could you be so foolish? Sam was crying. I guessed he had learned the whole truth. He knew I never wanted to take over his family's company, because I gave it back to him. Mario must have told him the story of me and Erick. A beautiful, bittersweet story. But none of that matters now. Take care of the company. Sam, promise me. Sam held my hand through tears and said, I promise you. I looked at him, pleading with my eyes. Sam, can you call me sister-in-law just once? Sam looked at me, deeply hurt. Finally, he slowly said, sister-in-law. I smiled in contentment. Duncan's voice trembled. What's with your will? That home was yours, if you survive. You can take care of it yourself. I won't help you. Big brother, you have to take care of yourself. I forced a smile, my body shivering from the pain. I coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and my breathing became rapid. I didn't answer either of them, because I had already said all I needed to say. Now, all I wanted was to feel what Erick must have felt when he died. I wanted to share in his pain. If we couldn't be together in life, maybe death could unite us. Erick, I'm coming to find you. So this is how much it hurt back then. Huh? A world without you really is bitter. I don't like it, not one bit. I only like you. Erick. 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 My voice grew fainter and fainter. As consciousness faded, I finally heard their voices clearly. Duncan said nervously, Miriam, hang in there, the ambulance is almost here. Sam cried out desperately, Miriam, don't leave me, don't leave me. Sam begged helplessly, Miriam, I'm begging you, live for me. Those were the same words I once said to Erick, and now Sam and Duncan were saying them to me. Maybe every farewell is just one person begging another to stay alive, while the other, helpless and broken, fades away, leaving behind 2 people's regrets. Then 3, and eventually more. I'm sorry, I whispered, and finally closed my eyes. Erick, I'm coming to find you. Erick, my love, I've come to follow you. We can finally be together again, in our next life. Let's love each other early. Let's not wait until we're on opposite sides of life and death, filled with endless regret. My dearest Erick. Extra Chapter 1. Erick. Miriam and I never really got along as kids. When we were little, she grabbed for my bear cookies. I refused, and she sat on the ground crying for 2 hours straight until my dad dragged me home and gave me a good beating. She happily walked back to the villa next door, claws out, holding the entire box of bear cookies. That's how our grudge began. Little Miriam was such a nuisance, but grown-up Miriam, she's beautiful. She's funny. She has a dazzling, striking face. Just standing there she could draw everyone's eyes. And gradually, I was drawn to her too. Miriam in front of others is icy cold, untouchable, but only with me could you see her goofy, silly side. How to explain her? When she's upset, she'll scold even a random dog passing by. When she's happy, just a little sunlight makes her shine like nothing else. I always thought she was like a beautiful sunflower, turning toward the sun, and I wanted to protect her. I know she knew, so I decided to stop racing. My family needed me. Her family needed her. Uncle had only Miriam as a daughter. The weight of her family would one day fall on her shoulders. But I didn't want Miriam to live without freedom or happiness, so I'd carry that weight myself. At the 3rd curve, thunder startled me. I mistook the accelerator for the brake, and by the time I realized it, it was too late. In that moment, knowing I was going to die, my first thought was, what will happen to Miriam? What I couldn't bear most was leaving my Miriam behind. Through the rearview mirror, I saw her running madly toward me. I really didn't want to go. I knew if I died, my Miriam would go crazy. So I had to give her a reason to keep living. So I told her, company, she's so smart, she'd understand. And she did. I heard her pleading with me not to leave her, begging me to live for her. I wanted to live too, but Miriam, I'm sorry. I can't grow old with you in this life. Such a terrible regret. I regret it, coming to this race. Maybe beauty lies in the flaw. We once stood together under the rain at Mushin. Let me take this rainwater as my betrothal gift to you. I forced myself to say, forget me. How could I ever want my Miriam to forget me? But I couldn't be selfish. My Miriam must live well. Miriam, in the next life, let's meet again. I'll go first, to scout the path for you in the underworld. Come slowly. I love you. Miriam. Extra 2. Sam. The first time I met Miriam was at my brother's car accident. Even though she had completely fainted, she was still clutching my brother's hand tightly. The paramedics had to use great force to separate them. I guessed she was Miriam, the girl my brother always mentioned. My brother said Miriam was a little son, a silly little thing, clumsy but adorable. But the next time I saw her, her expression and eyes could only be described as cold. When she proposed marriage to me, I was surprised but didn't refuse. I was even a little happy. In truth, I kind of liked her. I paid a high price to have a wedding ring custom designed. At the ceremony, I prepared her favorite lavender. I saw the sorrow in her eyes. I knew she was thinking of my brother. She was grieving. She should have been standing next to my brother Erick. But instead, it was me, Sam. She and I were strangers. After the wedding, she began moving into the company, using thunderous, decisive methods. No one dared provoke us anymore. No one dared take anything from us. To her, I was just air, and yet people can't live without air. But to her, I really didn't matter. I began leaving early and coming home late. I began seeing other women. I turned her into a laughingstock in our social circle. Yet she remained unmoved. She forced me to come home every day. In return, I spent my nights in bars, waiting for her to come find me. But she had no heart. She said the same things, did the same things, yet I, pathetic as I was, still followed her back home. She treated herself as my elder, not my wife. I met Victoria. I liked her a little, Because she was gentle, delicate, and dependent. She was the complete opposite of Miriam. I spoiled her, and soon people were calling her my white moonlight. Miriam unshakably demanded I come home, so people started saying Miriam loved me to madness. I began to doubt Miriam's motives for marrying me, because she was buying up company shares. My heart wanted to believe her, but her actions forced me to stay on guard. I decided to show my true hand. When I appeared with my second uncle, she was surprised. I finally saw the silly, dopey Miriam my brother had spoken of. She was truly cute, like an idiot, but her words stood on the opposite side of mine. I thought for a long time, then finally decided to give her the company. By the time Mario came to me, I already had my answer. Miriam didn't want the company. Then there was only one reason left. She was doing it for my brother. When Mario saw the stock transfer papers, he cried, "Second young master, go save madam, she must be at Mushin." Mario was incoherent. My heart leapt. A terrible thought struck me. Miriam didn't want to live anymore. I sped to Mushin. At the sight, I ran into Duncan. We exchanged a glance and both rushed toward the racetrack. But we were too late. I saw Miriam's blood drip, drop by drop, staining the rain, staining the white clothes I wore. I suddenly hated white. I felt like I was losing her. What a shame, from life to death. She had never looked at me properly. She belonged only to my brother. Even after his death, no one could enter her heart. I suddenly regretted my debauchery. If I had stayed with her, would I have noticed her intentions? Would she not have died? But there are no ifs. Miriam died. I exposed my strength and pushed her to death. It felt like I killed her with my own hands. I destroyed the reason my brother had given her to live, and handed her the perfect excuse to go to her death. And so she copied him, dying beside her lover without looking back. Mushin now buries the legend of two great racers, but it also buried my heart. Miriam was never mine. I buried her next to my brother. I know she would be happy. I started calling her sister-in-law. She wanted to hear it, so I called her that. But Miriam, you are so cruel. You gave your next life entirely to my brother. What about me? I married Victoria. I think it's what Miriam wanted to see. I tell her the story of my brother and Miriam. Every year, we bring lavender to honor them. Miriam, I am happy. Extra 3, Duncan. I'm the child Miriam's father adopted. I grew up alongside Miriam. I once believed Miriam was mine. I worked desperately to become better, so I decided to study abroad. My plan was to come back and propose to her. But then she met her muse, Erick. My plan to return was postponed. That was the first time I lost Miriam. Then Erick died in a car crash, and Miriam stayed unconscious in the hospital for a month. I came back to the country. I didn't disturb her. I knew she wanted to be alone. But then she quickly married Sam. At the wedding, I saw Sam's sincerity. Sam truly married Miriam with his heart. That was the second time I lost Miriam. I thought there was nothing left for me to lose. But I lost Miriam a third time. Miriam died. She loved Erick so much she chose to die the same way he did. I couldn't save her. She died right in front of me, whispering Erick's name with her last breaths. She left the family company to me, even though it should have been hers. Perhaps it's for the best. She was meant to be as free as the wind. Miriam, why didn't you look back? There was someone who loved you just as much as Erick did, but you couldn't see it. You only saw death and release. You could no longer see the love still left in this world. I'm only your brother, and I can only stop at being your brother. But I so badly don't want to be just Miriam's brother. I love you, Miriam. Extra 4, Victoria. The first time I saw Miriam, I felt an enormous pressure. She was too beautiful, too dazzling. Just by standing there, she drew crowds of people to her. Her popularity was so strong that even Sam unconsciously helped her. I was afraid she would take Sam from me, so I provoked her countless times. But even when annoyed, she only took it out on Sam. She had her principles. She had no hostility toward me, even tolerated my petty provocations. At first I thought she didn't see me as a rival. Later I understood, she saw me as Sam's girlfriend. She was the sister-in-law, so she overindulged me. I knew that compared to Miriam, my advantage was my youth. I was sure I could win Sam over. But then Miriam died. She died suddenly. So unexpectedly. Just like Erick 3 years ago, in the same place. The same way. Miriam died for love. I realized that dying for love isn't just an old legend. It was the first time I heard Miriam and Erick's story. They were equally exceptional. Perhaps great wisdom brings great pain. Deep love doesn't last long. Geniuses often fall early. Erick died. So Miriam had to die too. She used the shortest time to consolidate the company and hand it over to Sam. I guess that was the path Erick left for her. But she didn't want it. She went to her death without looking back. She fell so beautifully, even in death. She was brilliant. Her love was extreme. But it cut to the bone. If only she had turned around. Countless people could have loved her instead of Erick. But she only wanted Erick. Miriam, I truly envy you. Loving so openly. In your next life. You must be happy. I bless you. Oh, and by the way, I married Sam.